Only the true hardcore guys are here today. So with that being the case, whatever you guys want. What do you want to know? It's a Christmas holiday.
What happened to Jermaine? Did he get hurt in practice?
Yeah, he tweaked his groin on Thursday's practice, I think it was.
How's he doing now?
I think he's going to play. We'll see. I mean, he's got this will be get through the days and all that.
So what did happen to Janikowski? And I mean, is that anything to worry about? Or
No, he's okay, but he landed on the guy's foot and dug into him pretty good. And his back, he landed flat on his back. So it was a little more than I thought it was.
How did DJ make it through the workload, having to go in and play? Did he handle it?
He did fine. He did fine. He was rusty, but he did fine. And that was a real surprise that he could pull that off. He had a heck of a pregame warm-up and workout, and he was determined to be available for us, and which we needed him. So we were very fortunate that worked out.
And Sweezy, I guess, what happened to him, and what's his prognosis?
He's got a sprained foot. We thought it was an ankle, but it's more of an arch sprain. We think at this point that's the early diagnosis.
And Doug came out for a couple of plays, obviously, and came back and all that. But what happened with him?
Yeah, he just kind of little tweak. He was okay.
How does JR look for this week?
I don't know that. Can't tell yet.
How do you treat this week now that you have a spot, you have the holiday?
We're going for it. We had a big game. It's big. We're not changing anything. We're going to do like we do and go for it. And I'm not sure what it means where we play or whatever, but it doesn't matter. We have to keep doing what we're doing to keep the momentum going and the precision that it takes to keep sharp and all of that. So we're not doing anything. There's no other circumstance but to go take it like a championship op and go for it.
So in terms of resting guys, that would really only apply.
We don't do that. No, maybe the game allows you to make some decisions or something during the game, but it would be a little bit different. But I've done that in the past, and I don't like that at all. I don't like doing it. I think it messes with us. Let's go play.
Given all the shuffles you had to do up front, how did you feel like the group played on the O-line yesterday?
The results were good. We got good results. There's a lot of corrections and things to be made. We mistargeted some things, and we allowed for some penetration that made it hard on us at times. But overall, it worked out. The guys hung in there. Posick made it through it, did a nice job, real admirably played both spots, and the fluke got back in, and so they're talented though. They're good. These guys they challenged us. The guy Nandi and Chris Jones, those guys they were effective players, and we struggled with them a little bit. So. It's interesting that the results came out. We still rushed for 200 yards, and all that. So, but we can get better.
For George,
A lot of times a backup tackle would come in and they haven't played. For George, having all that playing time he's had in his role, how much did that help him when he has
It certainly carried over. There's a lot of combination blocks and things like that are the same. It's just a guy removed, and he really didn't have any problem. George did a nice job in the game. He played well.
How about Ethan? I mean, Ethan had to kind of go back and forth and stuff like that a little bit.
He really did fine. He worked really hard at it. He was really working and staying low and keeping his base solid and all that. He did some good things in the game, and so that was a good performance for him, and we needed it.
After the week before, how nice is seeing 3 penalties for 20 yards?
Yeah, I don't know how that happens. It was just an avalanche of penalties a week ago, and this week we were on it. And so the guys did a great job. Our own players were really talking about it coming in, really in the locker room at San Francisco, that we have to adapt, and we just stayed on that theme, and the guys did a really good job. The one hold that we had was kind of a circumstance thing, and so we did a nice job.
They got some yards, obviously, passing and stuff like that. But as you mentioned after the game, they didn't really get a lot of big plays. What was sort of the key to that? Who, I guess, stood out?
Well, there's a little rope-a-dope going on in there. We had to give up some stuff to get some stuff, and we wanted to make sure and stay on top and not let them be explosive with the throwing game. And so we had to do that. We had to deploy, out of the run numbers a little bit more than we normally do, and so sometimes you just got to make that choice. And I thought Kenny did a real good job, defensive staff, in figuring that out. And I don't. The numbers at halftime was he was like 6 for 12 or 5 for 12 or 11 or whatever the heck it was. That was an accomplishment in itself. Just that there wasn't the big explosions and the big field changes that they've been getting. And so that was a nice job, and it was hard to hold him down because he got going in the second half. Both he and Russ, really picked up in the second half. But that's not the way we like to play it. But we had to take it in this one.
Did KJ end up playing more than you had thought he
A
would?
little bit more. Yeah, he played 40-something plays. We would probably like to keep him in the 30s. And, just circumstances and stuff. He felt good and played well and did a nice job and came out of it in pretty good shape. So it was a real positive outing for him.
Was it good for Shaquem? He hasn't been out there on
Sure,
defense to get
sure. Yeah, it was. We wanted to have his speed on the field, and so that was the choice during the week.
How did Bradley handle the game and get through it and all
He
that?
did fine. I communicated with him late last night just to check in with him, and he reported that he was feeling pretty good about it, and so he did a nice job in the game under the circumstances. It was really a game that kind of one of the themes or the side stories was those guys coming through, and Jay Reed too did it. He pulled it off after being gone for most of the week. He came out of it feeling better, so that was a real positive. So hats off to those guys. It was great effort by everybody.
More update on Tedrick and sort of his prognosis.
He's feeling better today, and he was running today. So he's got a big test coming up on I think a Wednesday to check it. What he's got, I can't explain the injury, but he has some air in the tissues outside of his lungs that somehow showed up, and so they have to get that to go away. It's a really technical way of explaining that injury right there. I'm so often capable of doing. So when that's okay. When it dissipates, then he'll have a chance to come back.
What's the treatment for that? Rest?
I'm not going to make any jokes about that. I was really ready to. You push on it, and you hope it spreads. No, I don't know. I don't think they're treating that. No, they're just waiting for it to go away.
Shaquille Griffin made a couple pass knockdowns again last night. How difficult in the last 5 years has it become to just defend a pass in this league?
It's pretty hard. It's pretty hard. The guys are so good. The timing is so sharp, and the confidence of the offense is so elevated that they can throw and catch stuff, and the quarterbacks know what the cornerbacks are capable of doing almost. It's really hard, and that's why the passing game. So you see guys completing close to 70% of their passes, a couple guys in the 70s, crazy numbers, but it just is. It's really challenging. Everybody's just better. And I don't know that the cornerbacks, it's really hard for the cornerbacks. They're playing one-on-one, and then all the concepts and the splits and the changes and the motions and all of the deterrents from playing really good play is just challenged. And so when guys can make plays, it's really special. It's rare. And, we don't see very many times you guys just knocking balls down. Not very many guys that do that, and so you've got to really, make a big deal about it when it happens.
Do you relish that exactly how you want to play is exactly opposite of what the league wants right now with offenses and rules?
Well, I don't know what the league wants, but it's just it's the time, and it's the trend is definitely there. I noticed that the Ravens are doing pretty well, and they're having a nice season, and so we threw the ball pretty well yesterday,
It's the game Russ had with just the deep balls he was hitting and all that stuff. How well he played.
I think Russ did all of the things that he does really well. He did again. He ran the ball really well. He avoided the rush really well. He made some great checks, like he's been doing. He had some spectacular throws, in situations of just impeccable placement of the ball, and then the guys made the plays on it. Those fantastic stuff. But that's what he's been doing, and he's really noted for being able to throw the deep ball. He's got great numbers there and all. He just did it again, when you needed it most, which was great. It's what you look for in the great players, and he was able to do it.
Yeah, Jordan.
You only ended up with the 1 sack, but 11 quarterback hits, and the pressure seemed pretty consistent throughout the night. How did you?
Yeah, we kept flushing him. We could flush him. We could get him moving. The effort was excellent, by the guys working to chase and to stay in coverage and all of that he's so good at. We actually did pretty well there. When he moved a lot and was out with time to throw and to do things, and he wasn't able to just rip the ball in there as much as we've seen him in all the highlight reels and all. So our guys really worked hard at that, and the whole scramble aspect and the plaster thing that we talked about, they really handled it as well, about as we have, and against the best guy that we've had to go against. We don't have to play Russ, but he's incredible. So the guys did a good job of it.
Maybe it gets lost a little bit because it happened so early in the game, but Trey Flowers finding the fumble that on the punt, I mean, that could have been a big play.
And that was a fumble too, and it shows you how late in the play the ball is still vulnerable. We stress it all the time with our guys. I mean, it's just inches from him being down, and that last little pop of somebody got through on the ball. So a huge play, yeah.
You're leading the league in turnover margin right now. How does that sound?
Sweet. That ain't nothing better than that. That's as good as it gets for us. That's what spells your chance for success. And we couldn't be more committed to that thought. That's exactly where we want to be. And we got another week to see if we can hold that. Just as a little sidebar kind of emphasis, we'd love to wind up on top of the league in that area. And it really, the number one aspect of that is we've gone 8 games without turning the ball over. I mean, that's a fantastic number. I don't know how that compares with other teams, but that's an incredible number, and everybody contributes to that. Russ has a huge part in that, and he's great at not giving him the football, but everybody contributes. We watch video every week of our technique versus what's going on around the league, and you saw the ball that got punched out and how loose that ball was being handled. That was a tremendous disciplined attempt by Justin Coleman to take a shot when the opportunity arose, when a guy was vulnerable, and those aspects of the coaching are so crucial to us, and we take such great pride in it. It's exactly where we'd like to be.
Why does the team seem to take?
Just need a couple more.
Why does the team seem to take so much pride in proving doubters wrong or defying what the outside is?
I don't know. Like I've said to you for years, we seem to, and you got to blame John for this, that he continues to find guys that got a chip on their shoulder and that they got something to prove, and that mentality is so valuable when you're up against it. And our leaders have that mentality. The guys that we've added to the program, have again kept it going. We just need to keep fueling that, and it's a mentality, that I think makes that happen.
You mentioned on the radio Frank Clark, he's not going anywhere. Has there anything been done on
They're
that?
working on it. We can't. Yeah, Frank, he's a Seahawk. We got to figure it out somehow, and we'll work at it. It's a big issue.
He, and you talked as well, but sort of the maturation of him from when you got him to now, it seems like it's been pretty vast, both on
Yeah,
the field.
it's been marvelous to watch him grow. He's just grown within the program. How many years has he been here? Is this 4? Yeah, okay, so he's a senior now, and he's acting like it. He's embraced the opportunity and the role. He's grown through it. There's that freshman year, and then the sophomore year, and then and he's just grown up right before our eyes, and he speaks so clearly about how it all works and how it fits together. And I was listening to him on the radio last night when driving home, and I was just so pleased to hear him have such clarity in what his purpose is and how it all fits together. That's so valuable for a young man, and it's just marvelous to see.
What do you think this season's been like for him, given what happened with his family over the offseason?
Oh, I can't even imagine. I mean, I'm sure that was we've talked about it, but it's a devastating, family concerns that he's just figured out a way how to take care of everybody and share the love and all that he could to do something about it. And it doesn't go away. Something like that tragic doesn't go away. So he's taking it with him, but he's put it in a place where he could be productive and help people out. He's helping his family in enormous ways, and he'll be able to do more of that in the future.
The decision to kind of be aggressive there on that final drive, was that communication between you and Shadi something that was there earlier in the year, or did you just have to grow to that point?
No, it was just the situation, knowing who we're playing and all that, This wasn't a time to sit on it. We had to go for it. And So I just gave him a green light, and we were really clear. And he did exactly what we needed to do to get the ball down the field. The guys executed really well, and it was a great closing statement, about the offense. It was great.
With Clark, is that part of the essence of leading young men, taking a chance on a kid that a lot of people... Is that the essence of leading young men, take a chance on a kid that a lot of people didn't want to touch coming out of Michigan after you'd kicked out?
Well, I don't know. Did you say is it the essence? I think it's more of a philosophical outlook, and also a confidence that you can help guys, and if you can sense they've got the stuff, that it takes, and you have to take, obviously you take risks sometimes on guys because of their background, but because the guy's a young guy and he has some challenges or some concerns or whatever, it doesn't mean that that's who he is or that's what his life is going to be like. It's an easy way to cop out on going for it, when you have people that have the potential and you can sense it in them and you get that feeling, then it's a matter of working through it and staying with them and being there for them and giving them the opportunity to do something really special. A lot of times people get labeled and they don't get the opportunity to do the special things that they're capable of doing. And I'd like to think that we're always looking for those opportunities. And because once you connect and you attach a guy to what he really can become, some of the greatest stories come out of it. And we've been witness to those. And it's all about giving a guy a chance.
What was it about Clark that made you believe in him?
Way back when, it was the way people talked about him in the program, and they would try to explain to us how hard he would work and how important it was for him to fight to prove that he was belonged and all that kind of stuff. That was a totally different part of the story than what other things that were coming out. And John's guys were really convinced that he had something really unique about him, and he does. I mean, just watch him play. He plays so hard and he cares so much. That now has become so clear that that's a statement of who he is, as opposed to what other stories were out there that he was involved with. Not everybody makes mistakes and errors, and that's how you come back. And Frank's really proven it.
Some of the veteran guys have praised sort of your coaching job this year and leading the team. When you look back to all the changes you guys made in the offseason, both players and coaches, what did you have to do really well at that point to get to where you guys are now?
Stay with what we know, stay with the belief in who we are and what it takes, and just outlast anybody who's naysaying it and can't see it. And it's like Coach Wooden said a long time ago, you don't change your philosophy year to year. The players change. And that's where the changes come from. You either believe in something or you don't. And I think just staying the course and knowing that we're on to something. Just believing in the history. We know what we're capable of doing. We've shown it over a lot of years. And you're always adapting, but it's staying what you're true to. And that's what I think what's happened. And we look like a team that we've seen before, and that's powerful, because there's you undulate over the years sometimes because of things that happen. That doesn't mean that you have to change everything and start over again or whatever. Sometimes it does, but when you're on it, you're on it, and I think we are, and I have that confidence that we are, and we just need to recreate through the vision of the new guys, and as they fit into it. Look at how there's a whole different personality about our team. I hear people talking about they're starting to find, the guys on the radio were talking about it, how they're finding their favorites that they didn't even see before, but now there's these new stories and there's new storylines and new guys to be excited about, and they're going to watch guys grow in this program, and it's going to be fun because of the way what they bring to it. That giving those guys a chance within real good, steady, strong guidelines and principles and philosophy, and that allows them to be successful but still be themselves and be who they are, and and that's the dance, and that's the fun part of this.
To look back at the effort plays like Carson had on his 2 touchdowns, David Moore and Ed Dixon on the 3rd down catches, the 3rd and 1 stop you guys had. When you see those plays pop off film again, when you look back at them, How do you kind of respond to those?
No, I'm thrilled about that stuff. In those cases, we don't know who the guys are that are going to make those plays when we go in. With Saturday night meetings, we're talking about the game and how it's going to go and how we want it to go, but we don't know who's going to be the people we're talking about after the game, and you don't know what the opportunities are going to present to you. And Doug makes that unbelievable one-handed catch going, hitting the pylon, the whole thing. Tyler's grab, the throw, Russ scrambling, Ed on that great 3rd down 16 play, just elevated everybody. Everybody's out of their seats on that play, and on. Like you said, the short yards. We don't know what's going to happen in these games. That's why it's so fun to go see. But when you believe in and you know who you are, then you know it's going to happen. You just got to go wait and see who gets the opportunities this week. And so hopefully we make ourselves through the preparation available for the opportunities. And then when it rises, bam, you take advantage of it. And that's kind of what the fun is.
The role Akeem King had last night obviously looked like he played pretty well.
Yeah, he's doing a nice job. He got the matchups came out where he was on the tight end. Akeem is a big kid. He's a big corner. He's 215 or something like that, and you can see him able to hang in there with the bigger guys, and he doesn't get knocked around as much as a guy that weighs 190. And he's really fast, and he's just everything that we've given him a chance to do. He's done well. So he's a bright spot for us.
Some people have asked, the tip pass that they negated the pass interference call last night after Reed challenged it. What's the ruling on that? Can you challenge a tip ball, and then what was the ruling in that case?
Yeah, you can challenge if the ball was tipped. That's what Andy did. What happened on the play was there was a interference in the process of the route, and then there was an escape, and then there was interference kind of again. And so the DB got into was it Doug? Was it turn to Doug? Yeah, twice. And the official saw the first one as the ball was being thrown, or maybe it was just getting out, and then the next one happened after the ball was tipped. So there was some confusion in there, and to challenge that was a good challenge. We were up against it right there. Defensive holding would have been a different situation, and they could have called. Maybe they could have seen the first grab as a defensive holding, but he saw it as interference. So they had to sort that all out. So the challenge was that the ball was tipped before the interference happened, and it would have been allowed, and we would have lost the situation right there. So they figured it out. They did a great job figuring that one out because it was legit. You could see the whole thing when you could see the replay.
But they ruled the second contact? That was what they ended up penalizing?
No, the first contact. Yeah, the guy. I didn't see it this way. I couldn't tell, but they said you could see him start to reaching for the flag, on the first interaction that happened.
How's Rashad doing coming out?
He should come running back this week. He almost made it back this last week. So his mindset is ready to go practice on Wednesday. And again, if he can make it through it, then we would love to have him back.
Anything else? Thank you.
Thank you.